Alright, so the end of Feybreak, the last couple of weeks of Feybreak. Now, I don't really recommend that you breed a bunch of pals and make too much effort on that, because we might be getting new passives, we might be getting new pals, it might just not be worth your time. But if you are a returning player, or you just want to breed some maxed pals, you want to have some fun with Feybreak while it's still current, these are probably the top pals of each element, and I'll show some builds and some pal armies, and then the base pals and some utility pals as well. So starting with these best combat pals of each element, we got Bastigor for ice. I think I'll go through them really quickly. Just good stats and good exclusive skill. We got the fire pals. We got Rio, good elements and good stats, good exclusive skill here. We got the dragon pals. We got the neutral pals. Then we got a couple of options for dark pals. Water pal, Flare's Aqua, good exclusive skill as well. We got the Anubis build and the Nocturne build. Anubis will be shown a little bit more with the Gobfin build. Orzhok could also be added to the Dragon Pals as well. Orzhok and Ashermain as the Electric Pals. And then Grass, there isn't a whole lot to mention about Grass. There is the Verdash. It works decently, but not a whole lot of options there. So going to the build itself, we got the Gobfin build, the easy mode build with Felbat, used a lot on the oil rig for the healing effect. And it's kind of like Gobfin and friends. This build is based a lot around player damage, so it scales with the better weapon you have, the more damage you will do. It's not a pal focused build, like most of the time the pal isn't even attacking. You're just mounted on it, swapping elements, you got the lifesteal. So this is a player damage focused build, and the strongest build probably. So you would have your Vixen against Björn, Anubis against So, Felbat on the oil rig. We got the Frostalion for the raid against Xenolord. Just stuff like that. So the strongest current build probably in terms of DPS. And then the raid army, I suggest that you just make a German-side Ignis army. No need for any special breeding skills. Like you could add some meteor rains, but not needed. So we got the build here for Xenolord with Blast Cannon, Holy Burst, Beam Slicer. Then you can just switch to Curtain Splash and Airblade against Rio. And then we got Beam Slicer and Curtain Splash. And again, just Holy Burst on all three, just so you don't have to switch for Bellinor Libero. We got Rescue Pals, which is a kind of new thing for Feybreak, where you have your pal with combat turned off. So you would have it in the base. You would build the monitoring stand. And then you would turn combat off for the pal. It takes pals that are down and out of combat, brings them to the bed, revives them, takes 10 seconds, and they're back in the fight. So that's like the current raid army. You could go for some Jet Dragon army, Palladius army, or Bastigor army. They're also fine. Jignus just works the best in the current state of the game. You got a decently faster among the top speed kills for all three raid bosses. Then they're part fire element. So all three raid bosses use a lot of burn damage. So these don't take burn damage, they have high stats, they resist all three bosses. And then with the rescue strat, it's not a problem against Xenolord Ultra. And then what you use your raid army for is generally you kill Rio Ultra over and over and over for the fruits. With this army you can kill him for about 60 to 70 fruits per hour pretty quickly. Compared to something like Rio itself is also a good option, but it's just a lot less steps for the breeding, especially now when this update is almost over. So just breeding a bunch of German-Tide Ignis, very easy. And it's on par or better than all these armies. So it just works out and the builds there. And sort of the problem with Rio is that it's the same problem with here as a rescue pal. It can be kind of tricky to get Swift and Diamond Body since it's a raid boss. You could just use this sort of budget rescue pal. It also works just as well, and it's a little bit easier to breed for if you're just ending Feybreak and don't want to spend a whole lot of time on these rainbow passives, which is this Diamond Body and Swift. And then the pal focus build. So this page we're showing the Gobfin and Friends build. These pals you can all probably best to just add them to the Gobfins you're running. Just Gobfin plus 1 or 2. You could do a mixed build, whatever. These are a little bit more pal damage focused builds. You can use the booster. So it's 4 boosters. They boost the dark element pal. All the attacks, not just dark. All the attacks. You could do your boosters plus any of these. Or just Gobfin with player damage, and any of these is fine. Boosters with Necromus. This is one of the top builds right now. Necromus with Twin Spears, Rock Burst, and then whatever is super effective. So you would have Flame Funnel against Björn. Just whatever is super effective as the third skill. Holy Burst against Victor. Just Twin Spears and Rock Burst. He gets really close Rock Bursts for a lot of damage and has a very high stat when you're using it like this. We have the 5 rotating PAL build, which works best with Selene, but you can do it with anything. Just switch PAL, let it use Holy Burst or whatever strong skill, and then switch PAL and keep repeating that. 5 Selene just works best with the partner skill, because when you mount up you get double damage Holy Burst, so you get 10 double damage Holy Bursts if you mount up after the PAL uses it, works well. And then probably the strongest overall PAL damage build to just sit back and relax are these Knocklums. 2 Knocklums for 100% uptime on the partner skill, and then just boosted by 3 Doomids. Could also add 3 Gobfins here and do Knocklam and player damage. That is also fine, or probably even better. It depends. A lot of this player damage stuff it's the best endgame stuff, but you need like max attack and all the weapons and accessories and stuff like that. Base pals. So this will go through handiwork pals. So we got some options here, but Anubis, you probably gonna breed for it. Like Splatterina is nocturnal, Anubis eats a little bit more so it has better work speed, uptime on the buff. But then you probably breed the Anubis to give yourself the Bastigor. So breeding chain taken into account, you probably just go Anubis for handiwork. Then the cooling pal Bastigor, you got the mining pal Astagon. No reason to change from Astagon. It is the naturally nocturnal mining pal. Then kindling, we have German Dignus. They did add Rio, but as mentioned before, it's tricky to breed for. So that's also the reason I recommend German Tide instead of Phalaris Aqua, which also got watering level 4. Is that you just make the German Tide, you make that into Jignus, and they kind of naturally give you these 2 slots, and you don't have to do a whole lot of breeding. Same thing, Anubis breeds into Bastigor. Just less breeding than if you picked something else, like the Frostalion here or something. Prunelia has taken the place of Lylene, even if it's slightly worse planting, the partner skill makes up for it. Still gathering level 5 Frostalion knocked, because gathering level 5 gives increased yield. Each level of gathering gives increased yield. Transport, we got Knocklums, Mastery of Fasting, no Mastery of Fasting, kind of the same thing. And then Vanworm, just naturally nocturnal. Transport, not a big priority. Same thing with electricity. I haven't even made a Feybreak electric pal yet. Pretty low priority. Lumbering, also low priority. We got a level 4 logging pal. I mostly just sent this one to do the research, which required logging for. And then I have some Shroomers instead, when I do need logging. But just 3 Shroomers or 5 or 2, whatever. Just because you don't use so much wood, you might as well have the sanity partner skill at work. Ranch Pals, this is the build right now for Ranch Pals because it does work, work speed does work. Otherwise you could just buy anything except for the honey and stuff like that. So just put a work speed pal. I don't have one for the bees because they're pretty fast anyway. Bunch of honey stocked up from the 4 max booster bees I have. But you could give them the work speed build as well and kind of rotate pals. And then with these applied work speed books, you can see here, they have the work level 5 and 5, and then work level 5 in pretty much everything here. With this work speed books, you can do this, so this is no longer super relevant. It's more, you can do it a bit quicker by using naturally level 5 pals, or naturally level 4. These books are currently probably impossible to grind for. You can get them via trading, but hopefully the Tides of Terraria makes them a bit more commonplace. And then I just figured I'd cover some utility pals, especially for Feybreak. We have farming giant pal souls, very important for the raid army. Farming chromite, useful for the plasma cannon and endgame stuff. And the raid army, it needs these giant souls buff. It also needs the research, so don't forget that you get this 18% research effect, defense and attack. With all your research, all your raid army pals in the base at the same time, it does add up. So giant pal souls, chromite, you got your glider pal, early game glider pal. They still work the same. The patch didn't change anything, they're just cosmetic changes. Gliders still have the same stats. Yakumo for farming passives on the legendary pals. And then just a fun pal, the utility pal here, Crodero. And then there's also the case of the mounts. You can shoot your weapons from Xenolord. Jet Dragon will be a little bit faster and it won't drown. You can still fly when it runs out of stamina. Xenolord can't. But Jet Dragon is a lot easier to get a max one. You don't even need to condense it. You just catch a couple with your Kumo and breed your 4 out of 4 passive Jet Dragon. Senior Lord can easily take thousands of eggs to get Swift and Internal Engine, so Jet Dragon is a little bit quicker if you're just going to focus on something before Feybreak is over. So that's it for this quick overview on the best pals. We have the base workers, we have the pal damage builds here, we have the raid army. I recommend Germantide Ignis just to quickly farm the Rio fruits, and then it can kill the Xenoloord Ultra and Xenoloord Raid without a problem. So it's just the best overall raid army to cover all 3 bosses and use it for farming fruits, which is also probably not something you want to do too much of this update. If we get like a level cap increase and pals become stronger and Rio stays the same, it might be that you just have an easier time farming that kind of stuff after the update. And then the Gobfin build stuff and the best pals of each element, and then something to consider as well to farm these rings, the resistance rings. Just something I'm throwing out there before the next update drops. Just something to do if you already have everything else. Farm the resistance rings of each element. They are very strong. I use them against almost every single boss as just a filler slot. So that's it. Thanks for watching.